pretty regularly you'll hear people talk about, you know, grinding and hustling and, how hard they work. And, over time, I hear plenty of business owners talk about, um, you know, hey, I'm putting in really long hours and I'm burned out. Those things that were kind of badges of honor early on, they're not, they're not anymore. They're almost like anchors dragging somebody down. And the the reality is it doesn't matter how hard you work if you're working on the wrong stuff, right? If you are not doing the right things, then it doesn't move you closer to where you want to be. And I've worked with people I debate this stuff about. We talk about effectiveness or efficiency, and some people are just efficiency junkies. They want to be really efficient and stuff. And I can tell you the simplest way to be efficient is just don't do something. If it's not working, don't do it. And that is the peak of efficiency. So if you want to be successful, we got to do the right things, right? So we're always kind of looking for our next right move. We talk about that a lot in our coaching programs or Win the Week. What's our next right move? Or when we're mapping out our 6-week cycles, what are the priorities for the upcoming 6 weeks? So our next right moves, plural. And I think that too often we confuse busy with productive or busy with gaining ground towards where we want to go. When the reality is a lot of times busy is kind of a mirage, right? We feel like, oh, I'm active, but I didn't really have to think about this. I just had to go and kind of keep myself busy and active because I feel like doing something, but I don't want to put in the hard work of strategy. Now you'll hear people say, I want to work on my business. Well, the working on your business in many cases is choosing the right stuff to work on, choosing your next right thing. And if you're not doing that, then almost always you're going to either get stuck or at least gain ground far more slowly than you need to get to where you want to go. And if you are like me, you don't want to work 110 hours a week. I mean, we've all had that kind of startup phase where, man, you just had to get after it all the time. And you felt like, hey, I'm going to sleep at the gym. I'm going to just kind of work my fingers to the bone. I mean, we all have those stories, right? My wife, Holly, and I, we got married one day and we were the next day painting walls and staining floors in a gym prior to grand opening. So, our honeymoon was, hustle and grind and work on the gym. And that's fine because that's what stage of the journey we were in at that point. But if you're still acting like a startup 5 years later, that's when you're burned out. If you're still acting like a startup 5 years later, you're failing to understand that what got you to the place you are now is probably not what's going to get you to that next place that you want to go, because they require a different caliber of owner. They require different skills and tactics because that's just how evolution goes. No different than anything else. I mean, I've talked at length about coaching youth baseball, right? Well, what you teach somebody at T-ball is not what you're teaching kids in high school, right? It layers on, just like the math that you teach a first grader is not the math that you teach an eighth grader or a senior in high school. So the same stuff applies with us. We need to understand that working hard only really benefits us if we're working on the right things. And so when you're deciding how you're spending your time, are you just punching the clock? Are you being reactive? Are you saying, okay, I've got a training session at 6, I've got one at 7, I've got one at 9, I've got some one-on-one clients in the middle of the day and I've got something in the evening. And then in between, it's just kind of putting out fires, responding to emails, trying to figure out, oh, can I get a promo out or something like that? Or are you planning your week? Are you planning your day? Are you using something like our 6-week planning cycle, whether it's a quarterly thing or whatever else? Are you choosing your next right moves? In fact, that's one of the things that we're doing, Doug Spurling and I, in our new program, Project 500, where we're going to coach business owners to build $500,000 a year businesses or beyond. Is every month we meet one-on-one to identify what their next right moves are for the upcoming month, what systems they need to install, what things that they need to optimize, what their priorities need to be when it comes to marketing, new client generation, revenue creation. And so, that's how much we believe in it. We're integrating a one-on-one session with every client in the program to make sure that they know their next right move, so their hard work doesn't go to waste. So every step that they're taking, they know is a step towards where they want to go. So if you're not doing that, whether it's with us or however you're kind of navigating being a more successful business owner, or building the business you want to build, it's just a non-negotiable. Because if you just say, I'm just going to work harder, eventually you're going to burn out. Eventually you're going to run out of hours. There's only so much you can kind of draw from that I'm just going to work harder before it runs dry. So if you want to build a better business, work smarter, choose the right things, then apply that work ethic that allowed you to get off the ground in the first place in the appropriate doses. And you're going to see your business skyrocket. You're going to see yourself grow. You're going to see the numbers go up. You're going to see your free time increase, and you're eventually going to have that business that you always dreamed about.